Looking for somewhere to copy trade that offers only the highest quality of certified traders vetted by a team committed to helping traders become successful? Diablo is that platform, offering rigorous risk management by setting maximum drawdowns for their platform's traders. As with real trading rooms, traders are followed by a person called risk managers during their incubation period, so there's no need to worry about what traders you follow on Diablo.io. So visit Diablo.io for more information on participating in their open beta.
This my two Satoshis. Who need 2 cents when they can get double from stacking Toshis? Yeah.
Hola, GNG. I am Trekking2Ks, and this is my two Satoshis on CBTV. So if you don't know, basically, I cover some things that are crypto news, and I cover some things that are not crypto news, and I kind of give my thought process on how I see the things and how they might relate and where they might have some relevance to what's going on in your life, right? Again, well, not again, but the start of this is not financial advice. This isn't me telling you how to live your life. This is just some things that come across my radar that tend to be interesting to me, at least. So here we go, jumping into this first story. There we go. All right, so Craig Wright files legal action against Coinbase and Kraken for misrepresenting Bitcoin. Basically, what he's saying is that them pushing BTC, aka based on the protocol of Bitcoin Core, is not the right thing, or better yet, Bitcoin Core's interpretation of the white paper and all the energy and resources and things that have been pushed to make BTC as we know it today, the number one to go to, is not right. He's saying it's Bitcoin Satoshi vision. And let me read the highlights. Again, I go through these articles and I just like highlight certain sections of what really catches my attention. The links for these will be in the description of the video, so you can definitely deep dive and do your own due diligence and research on some of the things that I talk about. And here we go. Craig Wright claims Bitcoin Satoshi's vision is the real Bitcoin. Understand, this man is using the legal system to rewrite history as we understand it. And granted, this is not like from a technical aspect, but on the technical side of it, it's like, wait a minute, if we looking at the blockchain and the history of those packets and information all together, which is the whole thing about the blockchain protocol, or sorry, blockchain protocols in general, is this is data storage. This is about being able to have the provenance of the history of transactions, right? This man is using the legal system to argue that, hey, that version that existed before the version I came up with is the wrong version for y'all to be promoting. And he's going after these big companies. Now, I've been wondering this for the last number of years, and it's the basic thing of, where is this money coming from? And I get it, he's a smart dude and he has like patents and other things and, you know, all of that, but it's not cheap. This man is going around the world to argue in various countries and jurisdictions that he is the originator of crypto. He's the originator, of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin protocol. Here's the thing, the most cost-effective thing he can simply do is sign a transaction from the wallet or the address that is associated with Satoshi Nakamoto, and just sign a transaction. That's it. Don't cost nothing other than the transact, that part of it on the chain. But the millions that this dude is spending in order to argue it in court, because there's no one else to counter him, right? This is what happens when your mythical founder disappears from public view. This is what happens when you don't have a centralized entity as a person or a company. He can go to all of these different jurisdictions and courts of law and be like, I'm the guy, I'm saying I'm the guy. The techie folks are like, all right, well, just sign a transaction. We gonna take you at that. But that's not how the legal side of this world works, let's say. It's, well, if this is the guy who's claiming he can do it and he's arguing it in his courts or these various courts, and the people who are in the court don't understand how tech works, guess what? They could, on the court side, somebody could be like, all right, yeah, you know what, you the man. It's not right, but this is the world we live in. Anywho, I'm not beating the dead horse. Like I said, you can jump into this one on your own. Moving on to this next thing. I seen this post the other day. I forgot what originally got this on my radar. By the way, my bad on missing out a bit. I was under the weather, plus I was traveling, and my voice was garbage. When I tell you the voice was garbage, it was garbage. So I'm feeling better back home. And here we go. U.S. Security Exchange pushes out this post. This was earlier on in the month. Seek nearly double size of enforcement's crypto assets and cyber unit. Now, this is also coming off of Biden's executive order, which, again, like I said, the surface level of the stuff was a nothing burger about studying in regards to what the different agencies and departments could do. The real thing was going to be, what are they doing in manpower? And then what are they doing as far as enforcing certain policies or throwing out certain questionable scenarios to the industries that they govern over or have enforcement influence in. Now, if I'm gonna come close again, if you've listened to me for any amount of time, you know I am not a fan of Hester Pierce and how she's portrayed within the crypto space. It does not make sense to me for you to be a part of a governing body or agency that has influence in this sector. We can't say that the SEC doesn't have influence in the crypto space, especially when you're talking about centralized companies and entities. Okay. And so to me, you can't be a part of an agency that's whole goal is to be a barrier. Its whole goal is to throttle the adoption of stuff. And for whatever the altruistic reasons is that they give you as far as protecting the investor or protecting the people, whatever. The point being is, if that's what your position is, but then you're talking about how, well, we need to let the innovation happen. No, now you're talking outside the scope of what your job is. Your job is to throttle shit. That's basically it. But nonetheless, jumping into this, right? And I'm gonna say kudos and claps to her. She makes the point. The SEC is a regulatory agency with an enforcement division. It is not, I say again, it is not an enforcement agency. It is not a law enforcement agency. It is not the DOJ. It is not the Marshal's Department. It is a regulatory agency that comes up with guiding policies to help regulate and stabilize the industry. But what's going on right now? They're making a whole enforcement division. This is prohibition, in my opinion. Again, totally my opinion. Remember, I'm just some guy on the internet. This is my, perspective on, this is prohibition in the new age. This is like the 21st century of what's going on as far as what happened in prohibition, where the, alcohol, tobacco, ATF was created off of what was going on with prohibition back then. This is what's happening here. So we're gonna have a whole new set of government jobs just off of this one industry. This is what's going on right now. Anywho, I don't want to beat this horse down. I'm gonna just say kudos for her for making this statement or the tweet. It still don't mean I'm a fanboy. I just can't, because yeah. Moving on, y'all. Listen, if you want to secure a job, this might be your opportunity. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth on that. This might be your thing, because you know how they say government jobs is the most like secure jobs. Like in the U.S., jobs are actually the largest supplier of jobs in the country, because think about all the different agencies and departments. Anywho, just throwing it out there. Jumping into this next one, last story right here. This one got me because it made me think of what's going on with Reggie Middleton's situation as far as IP infringement, okay? And so that's why when I saw this, it was like, wait, what's going on? Columbia sued somebody and got money? How'd that work? This, by the way, is the Columbia's newspaper. So that's their like in school, campus stuff, whatever. But it was interesting to note how this actually played out. Now, they got $185 million for patent infringement from NortonLifeLock Insurance Incorporated. Basically, Norton, as a software security company, used some of the technology that their research department had developed. And it was 2 or 3 professors in particular. I'm not going to get into the weeds on it, but the idea of the technology basically, it was 2 or 3 different technologies that they created that basically effectively distinguishes normal computer operations from anomalous, messed up on a word, or malicious behavior. even if a malicious program has never been seen before, and rapidly and efficiently shares information about detected intrusions across communities of users. That's arguably a game changer on the techie side for cybersecurity and stuff. And so I don't know how it worked out as far as like, when did they notice that Norton was infringing on their patent without doing a licensing deal with them? But at some point, either the school noticed it or the professor specifically noticed it, and it was like, hey, what's going on with y'all? We're not getting this money. What's up? So Norton hires the lawyers that they hire. What kind of got me about this and how it played out was that the school did the thing with the law firm for them. They get the $185 million, and we're like, yeah, so we're gonna give the professor some of the money, but then the other part of it, we're gonna end up putting into more research and development and expanding into another department. Okay, now, I do understand that when you work in schools or institutions like this, because MIT has some stuff similar like that, where it's a partnership deal between the inventor or inventors of a particular product or service, and then the school has their licensing thing that they do. What also caught me in this article was it doesn't talk about the licensing deal. So did Norton have to pull that service from their packages that they were selling to other end users or vendors? Or did they have to then do a licensing deal with Columbia University? And they also talk about how they're going to push the technology out into other areas and services. But that isn't covered in this particular article, which is kind of annoying. But again, this goes to the point of, it's so interesting how this big company, this is a big tech company, they even had to kowtow or bow down or like get in line on like, hey, you're violating IP law, you need to pay up the money. Now, I'm looking at the same thing going on in the crypto space and going, when will we get to this watershed, this crescendo moment of the acknowledgement of patents in the space, and particularly the Reggie Middleton one for distributed ledger technology? And what does it mean to the centralized companies, the exchanges, the AMA companies, the miners, the whole shebang? And then what does it mean to the companies that market as DeFi but are really CeFi? I'm just saying, I've been wondering this, and I think this is a decade that we're gonna get some answers. Now, as far as who ends up paying up, I don't know all of that part of it, but it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Bringing it to a close, right? So again, the stories are some things crypto, some things not crypto, but I try to make that point in that cross relation of how these things might affect into your life. Not financial advice, but just some things that, you know, catch my attention. A heads up on the end, we're working on some things on the back end for like conferences and stuff coming up, as well as working on some giveaway kind of things. So definitely stay tuned. Check out the rest of the fam that's on the CBTV channel. And yeah, what is it? I'm Trek with 2Ks. This is my 2 Satoshis. And so definitely check in for the next episode. Oh, and if you like what I said, you can always leave a comment. If you didn't like what I say, you know what? You can thumbs it down, or you could just leave a negative comment. Either way, I'm still good. But if you do like what I said, hey, how about you tell a friend and you share? All right, y'all. 1.